Hey guys, Rob here with McDojoLife. In today's McDojo news, we talk about a man who was awarded $46 million in a lawsuit against a Jiu-Jitsu academy that left him paralyzed. Let's check out the story. A San Diego jury has awarded more than $46 million to a man who suffered a catastrophic spinal injury that rendered him a quadriplegic during a beginner jiu-jitsu class 5 years ago. Attorneys for Jack Grenier allege that on November 29, 2018, he was a beginner 23-year-old student at Mar Jiu-Jitsu Club. In his lawsuit against the club, the complaint states that he was paired with instructor Francisco Iturralde, a second-degree black belt at the time under Fernando de Piero, who placed Grenier in a position that put his entire body weight upon Grenier, paralyzing him. The 30-year-old instructor is actually a very experienced competitor and was actively still competing at the time of the incident and has been since as well. The class he conducted that day consisted of a 10-minute warm-up and a 20-minute technical instruction, followed by sparring. According to the report, Grenier had a sparring session with another student that ended without incident, before he then sparred with Iturralde. Grenier's attorneys put out the following statement. While practicing with Iturralde, Mr. Grenier was placed in the turtle position, a position where a person is balled up on all fours with his face down on the mat. If an opponent is in a turtle position, the goal should be to safely put that person on their side, known as taking the back. Instead, while positioned on top of Mr. Grenier, Iturralde crouched on the ball of his feet, pinned Mr. Grenier to the mat, immobilized Mr. Grenier's left arm, and then launched himself up and over the opponent, placing his entire body weight on Mr. Grenier's neck. The extreme force of the maneuver crushed Mr. Grenier's cervical vertebrae, causing the student to fall limp, paralyzed in all extremities. That incident resulted in Grenier suffering a severe spinal injury that left him hospitalized for months, where he was placed on a ventilator and underwent several surgeries. He underwent an anterior cervical discectomy and fusion of C5 corpectomy, titanium cage, and posterior spinal fusion from C4 to C6. He also suffered multiple strokes that resulted in him requiring a left vertebral artery stent. His attorneys say he was weeks away from graduating from college and was starting a career as a professional surf instructor when he was paralyzed. That's when his attorneys filed suit on his behalf, claiming that the defendants, quote, unreasonably increased the risk inherent in the activity of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu by failing to adhere to the required standard of care. They sought compensation for Mr. Grenier's past and future medical expenses, loss of earnings, physical pain, mental suffering, loss of enjoyment of life, disfigurement, physical impairment, inconvenience, grief, anxiety, humiliation, and emotional distress. The San Diego County jury took just 2 days to return with their verdict in favor of Mr. Grenier. He was awarded $637,959 for loss of past and future earnings, $1,337,153.23 for past medical expenses agreed to by the parties prior to the trial, $8,500,000 for future medical expenses, $11 million for past pain and suffering, and $25 million for future pain and suffering. The total amount awarded as a result of being paralyzed in the jiu-jitsu class was $46,475,112.33. Let's break that down. So a beginning martial arts student is sparring with a world-class competitor instructor and gets paralyzed by the instructor. 1, that is horrific. 2, clearly the lawyers don't really know much about jiu-jitsu. But at the end of the day, he shouldn't have been paralyzed just taking a class. I have people reaching out all the time for business consulting. When they reach out for business consulting, one thing that comes up all the time is issues like what just happened. Now, obviously, not everybody gets paralyzed, but there are injuries that happen a lot, and it's almost 100% due to negligence or ego, or both. Sparring is not competition. No matter how much your ego wants you to win, sparring is sparring. Sparring is just a tool that will help you learn through a little bit of pressure testing. Accidents happen, for sure. Every once in a while, you might get some accidents here and there, but if you're getting constant injuries, and I mean severe injuries, broken arms, torn rotator cuffs, destroyed knees, broken bones, there's a problem. And like I said, it only boils down to a couple things, either ego, negligence, or all of the above. If you're training your students for competition and they get severely injured, they can't compete. If you're training your students for a self-defense situation and then they get majorly injured in class, it's going to be really hard for them to defend themselves efficiently. Safety of students should be priority one, not your ego. So let this be a lesson for all of you out there who think it's okay that your students are constantly getting hurt, or it's okay to hurt a student. The instructor owes $46 million for that. Good. The student now cannot move from the neck down. But that brings us to the question of the day. Have you ever had an issue or heard of an issue where you felt like someone was in danger at a martial arts facility because of negligence or because of ego? Be sure to answer that comment in the comment section below before you add anything else, so that way I know that you watched the entire video. As always, I'm looking forward to reading your comments in the comment sections below. Thank you all for the likes, comments, shares, subscriptions, memberships, and all that other crap people online tell you to do. Keep the martial arts legit.
Things just haven't been the same. Living strange since my baby joined that dojo. Joined a McDojo. Now she tries to spar all day, and I want to fly far away from her love. It's a McDojo life. Now she don't come back no more for your